Alright, Battletech fans, here we are with the first travel vlog of Season 4 as we head back out to the West Coast to go to Strategicon's third event of the year, which is called Gateway. We had gone to their first event of that year in 2022, which is called OrcCon, and we'd been invited to come back to their next event in May of that year called GameX, but I couldn't afford back-to-back trips like that, so I said, let's compromise and I'll go to the latter event of the year, and that was what we ended up doing. I ended up getting to go to GameX the next year, so I've been able to complete the trifecta since then, but I am currently on my way to Jennings to pick up Drake, my cameraman from the last time, who we were able to work out another road trip with since I had several months to prepare, so by this point I've picked him up, and we are about to come up on the very first time that we were actually able to stop and do a proper intro, so here we go.
What's up, everybody? It's August 21st, 2022. We're going to drive across the country, out to the west. We're going to hit every single Battletech game we can hit on our way out there. It's going to be awesome, but we're late. Get in the car. We're out fixing to head back to the West Coast, Daddy! Season 4! Now, I called Season 3 the season that was never supposed to happen, so I don't know what the hell I'm going to call this one. Calling it the impossible season just doesn't feel right, so that's something I'm going to have to come up with. But I remember the last time it was blowing through here. Park City, there it is. Yeah, okay, that's where we are. Park City. The last time I was blowing through here, I had like a plan, right? Like all the different episodes that I was going to do. I had a name for them and everything. Like I knew what I was going to call them. But then you see how that shakes out. The best laid plans of mice and men and all that jazz. Some of it ended up being the way that I wanted it, and others I ended up changing the name later because other things occurred to me after I got home. But we're not going out for as long this time, so I'm not going to plan any episode names or season names or anything like that right now. I'm just happy to be doing this again. So we're going to first stop Salt Lake City, Utah, and we're going from there to Tonopah, Nevada, baby. We're going to film at the CLOWN Motel. By the time this video is out, you'll have probably seen that, so there's some future looking at that. And then we'll be heading from there to Reno, and from Reno it's a very short jump to a suburb called Sparks, where one of my best friends lives. We're going out there to do the G.I. Joe themed game, you know, where they're having to battle Cobra, steal the Mackie. Like, I already came up with that. That's cool. Going from there to Yuba City, we got us to capture the flag game out there. Ain't never played one of those on the show before, and I haven't seen anybody doing it either, so that'll be interesting. And from Yuba, we're going back down to Hollywood, baby. We got another game scheduled to take place between myself and one of the heads of state over at the Battletech International Facebook group. So we're going to get 2 games in while we're down there, and then it's just a straight shot all the way home, hopefully I-40 all the way. Ain't got to worry too much harder about that, so it's going to be an interesting trip. My God, here we go.
And as it turns out, I wasn't really kidding, because I think that this trip is, bar none, the trip that had the most wild and crazy shit go on the entire time. Just every time I turned a corner, it seemed like there was something else, but we'll get to that in due time. Right now, we are leaving Kansas, or trying to anyway, and we're all in good spirits at this point in the trip, so. But what wound up happening later is the car would end up breaking down once I got to Tonopah, Nevada, and Drake would end up having to go back home to Oklahoma because he was sick. So there was a lot to unpack during this particular trip. But at this moment, my plan is to make a straight shot from Tulsa to Salt Lake City as fast as I possibly can and as safely as I possibly can. So as you can see here, we are driving through the night, and I've done this before. In fact, on the last trip that we came out here for, Salt Lake City was a stop that we made, but there wasn't a game planned or anything like that, so there wasn't really a whole heck of a lot of video footage that came out of that, and I wanted to rectify that this time. So my plan was to drive through Wyoming again, and this time I was hoping that I wasn't going to come up on any wintry sort of conditions like the last time, because the last time that we had driven through there, I couldn't take any video of it at all because we were in a whiteout blizzard. This was in February of 2022 that I'm talking about here. So I thought, well, gosh, at least I'm going in the last dog days of summer here, and I won't have to worry about slipping and sliding all over the interstate like I was last time. Man, that was crazy. Even though I had like 2 near-death experiences on the last trip, I still think that this trip was the crazier of the 2. So just remember that anytime you watch that video of the Clown Motel, which longtime viewers will remember the music video from that, just remember that every time you see me in that video, my car is like 100 yards away, not 100 yards, 100 feet away, broke down. But anyway, I don't know what these things are, but anytime I drive past them, it always makes me want to look, but I don't want to take my eyes off the road too long, so that's why I had Drake film it. I think there's some kind of like processing plants or, power plants like for electricity, like the grid or something like that, but honestly, I have no idea. I think we're coming up on like Colorado at this point, but I could be wrong. And you notice what happened there with that sign. We can never, like anytime we're driving, if you are ever crossing over into a new state while you're driving at night, you're not going to get any video of that sign because your headlights are like reflecting off of it. And so we can never get any of those cool signs, and so I guess I'm grateful that there are other times that I had it, so in case I needed to use a welcome to Colorado or welcome to Utah sign, well, I got it on a different trip, so at the very least I can do that because I drove through it during the day the other time. Now I think, yeah, here we are, we're coming up on Salt Lake, heading down the Green River. No, I ain't going there. I think at this, yeah, if you look at the sky at this point, the sun is starting to come up. So we have driven through the night at this point. I was still feeling fine. I wasn't particularly worried about anything at that point in time. So, see, I can't exactly remember whether or not this, I think this is Wyoming, as a matter of fact, because I remember the last time, again, like I say, we had these curves and I couldn't see it. But the general landscape pretty much reminds me of that. Now, we're coming up on this super cool set of tunnels here. And to me, like, this just looked like the Stargate SG-1 tunnel that they used to go into, like the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, because we were in, Wyoming. I'm like, it seems, close enough, right? And so I wanted to take a video of that because I thought that was pretty cool. And we're going to come up on some of the natural rock formations here that you see when you're driving through these states. Oh, Jesus, what on earth? I don't even remember looking at that. I think that was something Drake just decided to take care of. Yeah, all right. This I remember. We are leaving Wyoming now. Just about to cross over to Utah. I remember taking this video because the sky was so pretty, and I couldn't just let that pass by without doing something with it. So you get to see a lot of this stuff. Like, that's one of the best things about making these trips, is that you just get to spend a lot of time out there seeing all of that natural beauty. And like I say, here we are crossing into Utah finally. Oh, look at this train. There's such a lot of cool scenery in Utah, and I went back to Salt Lake, which we have more video of here in just a little bit, and it's so funny because Jeff, who longtime viewers of the show will know from several different episodes of Battle Talk or Finding the Facts in the Fiction, had jokingly suggested to me, hey, why don't you drive your car out there on the salt flats and hit the gas and just see how fast you can get it to go, right? Man, I can't do that. My name ain't Burt Moonroe, if you've ever seen The World's Fastest Indian. I can't be doing that. But I won't lie, the thought totally crossed my mind. I considered it, at the very least, for maybe 30 seconds, okay? So it's not like this was so far out of the realm of possibility for me that suggesting it was ridiculous. No, I did think about it, but then I thought to myself, man, you know, what goes on if something happens out there and I skid and I roll or something happens? Well, a tow truck sure as hell can't come get me out there, right? So I just, better not. And here we are. I believe that is the lake itself right there. So, this particular trip, we actually didn't get to go in it. But when we went out for the next one, we were able to actually get to go in the lake and all that stuff. So we are coming up on a thing right now called the Gateway in Salt Lake City. This is their Legends of Rock mural that they have on the wall there. And it is kind of like a big-time like center for arts and entertainment and that kind of novelty kind of thing. So there's all kinds of really cool stuff. There was Don Rickles that just kind of flew by there if you didn't see him. I don't think I'll focus on him. Now, we were taken by the player that we came there to meet to this place, which is the Joseph Smith Memorial, because if you didn't know, Salt Lake City, Utah is like the biggest place for Mormons on earth. Like, I don't, except for wherever they're from, I can't remember that. But otherwise, that it's got the biggest concentration of them in the United States anyway, from what I understand. And they have this memorial park here. It's a big tribute to Joseph Smith and all this other stuff. And of course, our friend took us around and gave us the 10-cent tour of the town. So this was one of the places that we just genuinely felt like we had to stop. And apparently they didn't mind us taking video or anything like that. We were totally allowed to just walk through and have our run of the place. So this was just such a novel experience for me because I've never been to a city wherein one particular religion had such a heavy presence within that city. It almost felt like kind of a mini Vatican City of sorts. And so I had to go see it with my own eyes just because, well, when are you ever going to get to see something like that ever again? And they have a lot of different stuff. This isn't the only thing like this around town. They have all kinds of things like this and different monuments and stuff like that. But what we're about to come up on is the library. And according to our host, the library here is just massive. Now, unfortunately, it was closed that day, so we didn't get to go inside. But I mean, if you just look at the property here, this thing seems gargantuan. And according to him, we looked at some of the shops. See those little black boxes that were there on the facade of the building? Those were shops, like there used to be a comic book store in there, but that was closed. So sadly, we didn't get any photos of that. But I mean, if you go over here where we're about to go, there's this whole little concourse over here where you can go hang out. There's like multiple floors in that thing. Just imagine like having a library like this, like living in a city where you had a library like that. I'm a library nerd, so like when I see this kind of stuff, I geek out. But man, this almost looks like it's big enough to hold like some massive convention or something like that and then house everybody that wanted to come at the same time. And now we are coming up on a place called Murray Park where they had a lot of military hardware. They had like big guns. And we all know big guns never tire. So we had to go take a look at that. This was like an anti-aircraft gun, I think it was, from World War II era anti-aircraft gun, 50 caliber. So, I mean, you know, this thing was no joke back in the day. And they had a lot of veterans memorials there too. And of course, anytime they have a vets memorial, I like to go and pay the respects to the veterans and things like that. So that's another thing that we did here, and I'm glad that we got to go. It's a beautiful park, and it's got so much history, and there's so much cool stuff here. Aside from that, Salt Lake City has a lot of art, a lot of entertainment, a lot of novelty, a lot of things like this. There is a great scene there for music and arts and entertainment, and so kind of what you have is this gigantic cultural stew there, where you could go see a comedy special in one venue one week, and then the very next week in the same venue probably could see a punk rock show. So here's one of the Vietnam veteran memorials. This is the war fountain, or the fountain for them. It's very pretty. And I think over there, there's some names. We're going to go over there and look. And then here in a second, we'll get a close-up of that gun. Yes, that's the memorial for the Vietnam veterans. And then I thought, well, okay, let's head back over there and get some close-ups of the sides of these guns, because they had all kinds of crazy details on them. You'll see here in just a second. So this is a 50 cal gun mount. I'll zoom out here so you can see a little bit better. This thing is just massive, in case you were not aware of the scale of things. But after this, it was time to head on down to the game shops. And we had a couple of big, super cool game shops to visit, or at least that's what I was told. I had no idea the wonders that were about to await me at these shops. So that's a very pretty shot of that mountain there. There was one called Demolition that we were going to go to, and then another one called Haster. And Haster, as much as I like Demolition, Haster is the one that stuck, like, in my mind, because I was able to take a dice bag away from there that has Cthulhu on it and everything, and it's a pretty neat little dice bag. And so now I just tell everybody for movement dice, hand me the Haster bag. You know, so that's how it ended up sticking in my mind. But first, we got to check out Demolition. And I was very excited to check out another game store. And the entire time we were going down there, we were talking about food. And we were talking about how this particular area has these sandwiches that they put, like, it's like a burger, but then they top it with pastrami, and we have to try that. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm in. And I was told that this is the area that perfected the original fry sauce, which is, you know, if anybody has ever eaten, like, mayo, I think it's like mayo and ketchup, it turns into like Thousand Island, but not quite. Anyway, they had the original stuff here, so I had to try that too. So here we are at Demolition, which they had an upstairs, downstairs, so I gotta give them props for that. That was pretty sick, and of course they carried Battletech, so they got points for me on that one. And they had a neat little mural upstairs, so again, I'm gonna shut up and let you enjoy this awesome game shop.
Well, who are you?
So then we went to Haster. Here we are coming up on it. So we also were able to meet up with Cole Walker of Rocket Custom Painting and Miniatures, who at that time lived out in that direction. And because we had done that, our host had the idea, hey, you know, we have a local Discord server here where we have our local players from the community and things like that, and that's how we chit-chat with one another. And would it be okay with you if I advertised your presence here and that we were going to play a game here at this particular store? This is where we ended up actually playing the game at. And I said, yeah, man, the more the merrier. Rising tide lifts all boats. Let's go. Anybody who wants to come can come. And he told me, well, we do have one of the Battletech writers who lives here in town. And I said, oh, yeah? And he's, yeah, his name is Brian Young. He's written this book, that. I said, oh, wow. Yeah, I had no idea. And he had expressed interest. And I said, oh, please, yeah, we are more than happy to have him. So that was such a pleasant surprise to be thrown, because he came down for the game and we were actually able to get him on like before the fight. And so that was pretty cool. I think he had to leave before the game's conclusion. So I'm going to shut up and just let you look at this amazing game store right now. Man, y'all, there was just so much stuff for this vlog that I had to break it down into 2 parts, so that's the end of part 1. We'll see you next time, right here.
Be sure to smash our like button and subscribe to our channel.
Crowdfunding is when lots of people give you small amounts of money to help your passion project come to life.